Welcome back to Media Hitman. I am your Media Hitman, Jonathan Narvi, founder of Mind Meld PR. And you guys know I like to talk about what's happening on the tech scene and in tech news because that's a lot of what we work with at Mind Meld PR. Today, I have a special guest, Vlad Zams. He is an entrepreneur, startup guy from around the world. I'm going to let Vlad introduce himself a little bit, and then I want to delve into what's happening, what he's seeing that's sort of cultural differences on maybe in different startup scenes because he's been traveling around this year and he's seen some differences that are, I think, interesting to entrepreneurs, people who follow the scene. Vlad, who are you? What do you do?
I do cybersecurity, and because I've been doing cybersecurity, this is the only thing you can really know about me. Okay, uh, okay, I will share some. So I'm from Israel. Now, what was your other question? Next one. Okay, no. I started career in tech as a software engineer, 2014. Worked at few companies, startups, and started my own business 8 years ago. So roughly 3 years into my career, I started my own business, serving other software companies, delivering software, expanding from mobile IoT to full stack cloud like applications for startups, mostly startups, and then more narrowing down on cybersecurity over the last couple of years. And last 4 years, which mainly we are gonna talk about, I believe, I've been traveling. I've been on the road for 4 years. Last half a year, more or less, I will not tell the dates, obviously, and periods of it, but last year was largely Canada, last calendar year. But 4 years overall, 2 months, one place, 1 month, another place, 3 months, third place, etc., across, well, obviously, like Tel Aviv, yes, then Berlin, New York, Vancouver, Zurich, Warsaw, and few smaller destinations around uh, Croatia. Croatia.
So, so
Some amazing people in Croatia, by the way. It's a small country, but they know things about cooperation, business, transparency, reliability in terms of relation. Yeah, I'm impressed. Anyway, and well, since I'm on the West Coast, I do have connections with a little southern parts like Seattle.
okay,
Developing, by the way, actively right now, actively developing my Seattle direction.
amazing,
That's
amazing.
what. Yep.
So, look, I read a lot and I see a lot about how the new mode of working and starting companies is you can kind of start them from everywhere if you've got the tech skills, if you've got the right team, if you can acquire funding and it's
Exactly.
different tech hubs are going to offer different kind of advantages and also just the way people work, the way people the speed of movement of people to test out ideas, to get funding. That can be different, let's say in Tel Aviv and New York and Berlin and Vancouver. So I wanna hear about the nitty gritty of like not necessarily just your own projects, although I want to maybe get into that, but also just like what you're seeing. Like you've talked to a ton of entrepreneurs, other people who are starting companies, and I feel like you've got a street level view of
Yeah.
okay the advantages and also challenges that different entrepreneurs and startups are going to have in these different regions. What do you say to that?
Yeah. So exactly what I've been doing is going into events in person. This is my main major marketing channel. I go to professional events, mostly around tech businesses, sometimes just about new businesses, ventures like of different kind of nature and sorts. And I talk to people essentially selling myself, my expertise, and educating a little bit. And the difference is staggering. The difference is like mind blowing sometimes. Which city you would like me to start with? Let's not start with New York. Let's not start with New York. It's gonna be because otherwise,
Yeah.
like the rest. Let's start small. In New
Well,
York, we start small, so let's start with not with New York. So,
sure.
uh,
Well, why don't we start either with where you currently reside here on the West Coast in British
right,
Columbia,
yeah,
if you prefer, the homeland, Israel. So,
Israel, yeah, yeah.
okay.
Let's start Israel. Let's start Israel. I'm, number of my teachers in Israel said we start with ourselves, meaning not spiritual stuff. Oh, deep inside. No, no, no. Very in a practical sense. Like this is what we did. This is where we are. This is what's happening. This is what we can do. This is what we want to do. What should we do now? What should we do tomorrow? In that sense, we start nearby, not in a spiritual sense. In a very so Israel, you go serve arm. You serve in the army. I was not fortunate to do that,
Hmm.
but well, I was not far away anyway. It's a small country, so you go serve army. You make connections. You go work for companies. Sometimes you, if you want, you stay in the army because we have an amazing school, technical school, especially cyber security related stuff, networking. You stay in the army. You learn technical skills. You learn management skills, chain of command. You learn to get it done, mission critical stuff. No, yeah, army is huge. You have many departments, but you learn that. You
That's
learn that execution.
that is
Then
so interesting. Yeah.
you
I mean,
go wild. Yeah,
it makes sense that the Israeli startup scene would be people would be inculcated with this culture of, okay, let's be very practical, very pragmatic. We have limited resources and we need to get up to speed fast.
exactly.
And
100.
also, it's like build what you can locally, but also, due to all kind of geographical constraints, diplomatic constraints, it's like Israel
Oh
has
man, it's just
kind of a
we love money. Forget
well,
about constraints. Like we
it,
love money.
it,
I mean, not money,
yeah,
prosperity.
yeah,
We
yeah.
like being stable in
Yeah.
any way possible, religiously,
Hmm.
socially,
Mhm.
spiritually, financially, economically.
Right.
Economically, in a broad, very broad sense. If you
Hmm.
don't feel right, you cannot execute right. You cannot provide
Right.
for. And we are so little. We are so small. Like, look at this patch on the like. Look at this little patch.
Yeah.
You
So
cannot even find it.
I understand that's where like the Israeli culture, like it's called Startup Nation. Like there's a book,
Yeah.
Startup Nation, and it's just
Yeah.
called Startup Nation because like if you maybe thought as a startup guy, as a tech guy, you're like, oh well, the number of startups and the amount of innovation is going to roughly correspond to the size or population of the country.
Mm,
But then you
yeah.
looked at Israel, you'd be like, well, how is this even possible? Like it's got I don't even know what percentage of the number of startups globally, but it's not a small percent. And
Yeah.
so this has to do with its sort of,
Mhm.
as a concentrate.
Tel Aviv
Yeah.
startup ecosystem is a top
Hmm.
5 ecosystems in the world
Hmm.
on number of measures. And I can provide the links to the reports, comprehensive reports on the number of measures, including the capitalization of
Hmm.
the ecosystem, like how much money has actually been invested over the years and what is the capitalization, like how much of the like not just money
Hmm.
put there in cash, also the returns. Yeah,
So
it's like, can you imagine fifth, like fourth, fifth biggest one after Silicon Valley, New York. uh used to be low, well, Asia is getting upper now, but it's like tiny thing.
So it's absolutely crazy. So I want to circle back to like is you said that networking, going to events is like your way of
Yep.
finding ideas, getting connected, maybe building out startups. Is this something, is this a habit? Is this a culture that you built out like
Oh,
in Israel?
100%.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. In Israel, it's kind of weird.
Mm.
I mean, people not really talk about that because they don't even do that. But
Mm-hmm.
it would be weird if they happen to talk about that. It's weird to stay home, to not spend weekend at your friend's house. It's weird. Like, wait, you didn't go to your friend? Like, are you sick or something? Like, what, oh my God, what happened to you? Like, we work the whole week, and you do not go out to your buddy, whatever, relative, family house.
Right.
Like, we're going out, we're not inside, we're
Yeah.
never inside, we're moving all the time. It was crazy during COVID. People
Mm.
were going crazy because like we could not stand it. Like, we move across the whole country every moment we can move and talk and move hands.
Mm.
We do that, so it translates precisely on the business event kind of scene.
Yeah.
People are so noisy all the time. You cannot find a quiet place there in terms of number of interactions and actual noise, like audio noise.
So
No.
that's really interesting, and networking. Certainly there's the startup scene locally, and you were in New York. We'll talk about that later. Like that is like also for me, this is like table stakes of like getting involved in businesses. Companies are not just a product or an idea. It's companies are people. So you got to connect with the people to make things happen.
Exactly. Exactly.
Um, Now, I feel like in recent years, like because you mentioned COVID, like people kind of got out of the habit. Also, people, especially younger people, looking at their phones a lot. They think they can do everything online. They think they can just,
Yeah. Why? Yeah.
uh, this
And
seems like
man,
a habit.
when you have this abundance of space and land, and you have highways between every two given houses, like, yeah, maybe I should just chill out my Netflix, and like next weekend maybe I'll go out to somebody. Yeah, I see that buddy. Oh, actually, where's their phone number? Oh my God, I don't even remember where I put the phone number of my kind of bestie that I seen last time, maybe half a year ago. Anyway, that show on Netflix, oh, so comfortable, so comfortably numb.
Hmm. Hmm. That's a great way to put it. What's the band? Comfortably numb. Uh. Anyways, doesn't matter. The anyways, I want to.
It's a Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd. Thank you. Um. So, uh, compared to, let's say, like you mentioned, I think you mentioned Czech, is it Croatia or Czech?
Croatia, yeah,
Yeah.
Croatia is amazing. Yep.
Okay. Like what
Surprised,
is
I didn't know that. I just found out it, like, I was, what, wait a second.
so yeah, talk about like Croatia, and maybe Berlin, like what
Yeah.
like whether it's to do with networking or
Yeah.
what's their secret of success over there?
Embarrassingly enough for Berlin, I wish I was as impressed
Hmm.
in Berlin as I happened to be impressed in Zagreb in Croatia.
Well,
Like,
so what was the difference?
it's so embarrassing. Croatia, tiny, the capital of Croatia, Zagreb.
Yeah.
First event, I talked to a random event, people drinking beer,
Hmm.
that the outstreaks of the city.
Hmm.
Met a founder right away, a real one.
Hmm.
10 years under his belt, hardcore database, languages, translation tools, SQL, languages translation, like computer languages translation tools, basically migration, part of the data migration. You
Mm,
you want to change the whole language of your amazing guy. Uh, but most importantly, not just this guy, number of events I attended there.
mm,
If even if it's not about technology, goddamn, people are so damn practical. I do this. I brew the beer. I'm a beekeeper.
mhm,
I'm distributing milk across the country. They talk in numbers. They talk in business. They talk in products. Like some is more technical, sophisticated, no problem. The guy is doing his programming languages translation
yeah,
products for years. Some are doing like the best milk in the region. Who cares? You serve people,
mm,
you make money, and you collaborate.
mm.
And you don't waste time on, well, everybody has their own
Yeah.
preferences. I'm not saying it's like wasting time for anybody, but like when you want, I don't know, business success. Business is generally about making money. It used to be, at least, and
It should still be. Uh, so
okay,
yeah, yeah,
where's the money? Where's the product? Where's the customer? Where's
yeah.
collaboration, partnerships? They all in that. Like versus Berlin. I go to product management event, the
Mm,
agenda, product management, customer successes, blah, blah, blah. Great, amazing.
mm,
Major venue, major, one of the, a luxury office of one of the biggest food delivery companies in Europe.
mm,
All smooth, even smoothie, you
mm.
know, and agenda is great. Panel discussion. Wow, people looking great. People, well, well looking. All professional. Microphones, audio quality, amazing. Okay, content, leadership, spirituality, equality and respect,
Right.
team management, appreciation.
So it's less focused on the making money and more on the how do we be like let's
I
focus
don't
on
know.
corporate social responsibility and so it's the old
Which is
story of
which is a great thing. Which is
mm,
a great thing. I'm all
well
pro. Like,
I
but
I'll say it's a great thing to be in a position where you have the luxury of focusing on those
exactly.
things.
You're nailing it. Exactly. This is operational um, perks. We
Mm,
want to be organized. We want to be well dressed, and
mm,
all of our employees have money and sense of style, sense of
mm,
communication. Be a little bit more sophisticated. We want that,
mm,
guys. I'm telling you, this is luxury.
mm,
It's
mm.
always have been luxury. And let's make it accessible to as many people as possible. But in order to make that happen,
Mm.
you need to provide value. You
Right.
need to find market feed, product feed, customer feed, founder feed. You need so many things to feed together
Mm,
for longer period of times, and check your check your banking account and see
mm,
how many people are still buying
right.
whatever you have to offer. Buying, not in this pure financial sense, buying generally, like into it. You have something valuable, show it, tell a story about it.
Mm,
Telling a story about your childhood traumas and how you overcame those as a leader. It's great. I mean, they can afford it. I believe so. But I talk to people in the audience. Oh my God, they cannot find a job. So
Well,
where's
I'm gonna
that?
okay,
Where's that?
I'm gonna push back on this a little bit because,
Yeah,
well, I have to in the sense of,
sure.
um, when let's say you're in a very competitive industry, whether it's in Berlin or America or wherever in the world, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
it's unlikely. Like if you're making money. and your industry has made money for many, many years, it's
Mhm.
unlikely that you're the only company doing this thing. You have 999 competitors. And like, this is why CEOs will throw out these thought leadership pieces that it's like, I came from, a
Right.
very
Makes
difficult
sense.
background. And, because they're trying to tell some kind of
No
different
problem.
story to get attention. So
But
I totally get it.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
about the problem though.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
Hmm.
The problem is I could not find other events, other type of events. So what
Mm.
happens is that younger people do not understand the rationale, the reasoning, the practical part that you just shared.
Mm.
They perceive the world of business as such by definition. This is what becoming for them as a
Yeah.
definition of what business is. So I'll tell you what's happening next. Younger generations
Hmm.
coming to Berlin, in Berlin,
Hmm.
they start like even smaller tier events. Younger people have no capital, no competition. They don't have pretty much anything. They go on stage, they throw in those events, and they just mimicking
Right.
the
It's
language. It's like LLM in action.
yeah.
They and
Yeah.
and
They
you
they
don't you cannot find another type of event. Like,
yeah.
and
So they
how you
they
supposed to grow anything, to start and grow anything.
yeah,
I don't
they
know.
think the TED Talk or being on a panel is like the core of the business. It's like, no. So
Exactly,
uh,
exactly. This is
yeah,
that
yeah,
they see, oh, that must be essential. So
yeah, yeah.
many successful people talk about that all the time.
Right.
This is that thing.
Mm.
Guys, it's not the thing. It's corporate war there. They
Hmm.
talk about that because they cannot talk about 1 million things that brought them to that TED
Right,
talk
right, right.
because there was a
So
war.
so this is
In a
real.
sense.
Yeah, yeah. I love getting this perspective because, like, I'm on the West Coast in British Columbia, and we work with companies in California and New York and Austin, all the rest. So I have some sense of, and I'm watching the news. I see what's going on in these different hubs,
Yeah.
but I don't really have like that on the ground perspective that you've got from actually being in these places. I'm curious,
Yes.
and
Yes.
now comparing to, let's say, from what's happening in Tel Aviv or Berlin or Croatia, you spent time recently in New York, and now you're
Yeah.
living here in around Vancouver, Canada. So what's the difference here that you're seeing?
I'm so roughly the same motif,
Mm,
roughly the same as I just described with Berlin,
mm.
but with a West Coast flavor.
What does
What
that
is
mean?
the West Coast? What is the West Coast flavor? In Berlin, it's about corporate spirit and leadership.
Mm,
Here, it's very, very individualistic.
mm,
Me, my feelings, my perspective, like my less, even what I'm saying, even less kind of collaboration kind of
mm.
thing. Like people connect less, they trust less. In Berlin, even after that kind of business crappy, so to say, event, you go, you have 3, 4, 5 beers, and you know the person, and you still can't do something. Yes,
Mm,
inefficiently, but you can find that connection. You
mm,
can find this passion
mm.
slowly burning, but it's there. It's still there. And intellectual capital in Berlin, intellectual capital, German economy, generally, it's one of the most diversified economies. The intellectual capital in Berlin is the biggest that I've observed in the world. On par with New York, on par with New York.
Mhm.
Intellectual. People know the theory when you
So,
talk to people.
sorry, just to clarify, are we talking about
Yeah,
just sort of the average intelligence of people on the street, or they read a lot of books, or
exactly.
they're just up on the news,
Exactly.
or okay,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah,
Many, many think tanks. You meet a random person at the bar, not at the business event, at the
Yeah.
bar, and you talk about politics, economy, and they know what they're talking about. They're
Mm.
not reiterating on their latest LinkedIn feed. No, no, no. They know the data reports. Also,
So,
not
okay,
none of that. None of that here.
this is interesting because I'm okay. I grew up on the prairies in a place called
Yeah.
Winnipeg, Manitoba, middle of nowhere,
No.
and so maybe it's because of where I grew up, and we have there's a rural urban divide in the country, and an eastern western divide, but basically between the snobs and the people who do the actual work.
Mhm.
And so I have my own bias of like just to be clear, like in the last couple months that I've gotten to know you better, you are what I would call an educated smart person, but I run into a lot of
Dropped
educated
out.
dumb people, which is to say
Yeah.
they've spent time in university. Maybe they have master's degrees, PhDs, business degrees, but I wouldn't trust them to
Mhm.
run a hot dog stand. And so I'm not sure. I think what you're getting at in Berlin is like, okay, well, with all that brain power, all that, okay, they're highly literate,
You
very
can
educated.
certainly trust. You can certainly trust them on conceptualizing the hot dog stand in the right way.
Right, right, right. But of course,
Conceptualizing,
yes, but they
not only,
almost,
but
yeah, there's almost a stereotype of, in Europe, which I think it's not even a stereotype. It's just like legit. It's like they know so much about theory and legal theory and regulatory stuff that they're like, okay, well, we're going to create these invisible boxes that you have to fit your thing into. And if it doesn't fit in this invisible space, then that we just
it
made up in
hurts
our
for
head.
to them. To them it hurts. It hurts to them. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's not, uh,
So, and this is why they're like, I think it was 20 years ago, they were looking to be basically the United States of Europe. And now the EU is basically like, I think it's like 50% of the productivity of where it should have been compared to the US. So on a
oh
downward
my god,
trend
yeah.
and because of where how culture affects their entrepreneurial spirit. So I want to,
And financial policies to make
yeah,
it just as a
yeah.
part of the cultural.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, right. So getting back to what you're seeing here in Vancouver, and whether it's at networking events or just sort of more broadly in the startup scene, and also compared to New York, what have you got to say about these places?
Vancouver, very hard to find talent. Very
Hmm.
hard.
Now,
Any
is this because they've
exceptional
all
talent.
moved to San
Any.
Francisco?
Oh, now you are Canadian here. Like you tell me, you should track your people. People, hey Canadians, how about knowing a little bit more about Canadians? Huh?
Hmm.
Yeah. So good question. Good question.
Yeah.
I don't know how many Canadians are in San Francisco. When I talk to people generally, I don't
Yeah.
even ask them. I talk to people for like 1 2 minutes. Uh,
Hmm.
I made my quick and dirty, quick and
Hmm.
dirty.
Hmm.
Oh my god, quick and dirty analysis of whether I am ready to move forward at that particular place, time in the universe with that person,
Hmm.
and I make the decision right
Hmm.
away. And sometimes I keep the conversation going for 40 minutes.
Hmm.
But it's rarely, very rarely, the decision changes about future engagements. I mean,
Yeah.
I may just entertain myself or them. So here, very, very hard to find
Hmm.
exceptional talent in
Hmm.
any sphere. Any, I
Hmm.
saw the range. I think
Look,
I saw there is a range. It's not the oh, so everybody. No, no, no. There are good people. There are
yeah,
good
yeah.
people.
So I think what's happened here is like when I was in high school, which is a million years ago. Um, well, okay, so the 70s and 80s was when I was, in school, and so I remember some of the first articles I would read in the newspaper would be about the brain drain to the USA. Like that, it's
Oh yeah,
always
yeah.
been a thing.
But it's
Uh,
a global thing, right? It's a global
yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So, so this is always going to be a constraint in Canada is finding good talent. But,
Yeah.
I mean, when I think you hit on something interesting a moment ago when you were talking about sometimes you'll get a sense of someone, you meet at one of these startup networking events, and within 2 minutes, you're like, okay, you kind of know whether this person's worth talking to or whether
Right.
this isn't going to work out. And
Yeah.
then, with other people, you can spend 40 minutes and it's like, oh, I really want to get to know this person. Um,
Hmm.
and
Oh,
I,
sometimes just entertainment. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, well,
I don't want to know that person anymore, but it's still banter. Banter.
right.
Give me the banter. Give me the banter. New
Yeah.
Yorkish. Give me the banter.
Well, and by the way, I think this is useful for particularly for younger people. And I don't mean to be,
Mm. Hmm.
the old curmudgeon who's,
Yeah.
criticizing the young, because,
Don't try to excuse yourself.
well, I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
but I get it.
again, this comes back to the phones thing of I think they overestimate what can be achieved online or through email or messaging, and they underestimate the power of personal connections to build business. Um,
100%.
mm,
Because in business, the trust is that shaky, all that time shaking thing, dynamic thing.
mm,
In technology, you check the number, you check the test check mark passed,
mm,
okay, and your trust level kind of tied to that pretty much. Like, I don't
right.
know, 80-90% of your trust level ties to these
Mm,
numeric things that you can see on every single part of your screen on your
mm,
laptop.
mm,
Business overall, it's like, wow, what's happening right now?
mm,
Okay, what are you trying to say me? What are you trying to tell me? Wait. What did you mean by that smile sometimes in this email? Like, that person didn't used to joke that way anymore
mm,
on written communication.
mm,
Okay. No, we need to meet. We need to
mm.
meet. Like, if it's a big contract,
Yeah.
wait a second. Like, that language is a little bit off. Not by any cultural measure. It's like your gut, like with that particular person, and you cannot tell if it's a little bit off, if it's that much off, if you
Yeah.
never saw person moving his face, his hands, his body in front of you,
Mm.
making noises, making smells, making napkins dirty,
Right. So,
countertop.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it's critical to clear communication. These things, body language, all the rest of it. It's
yeah,
uh, personal connections can help move your business forward. I think this is one of the things I want to highlight out of this conversation. But towards that, we're actually running out of time. I have one more question. It's more around
yeah, sure,
again what you were seeing in New York, because you talked about something that I had
yeah.
experienced, not so much on a business side. It was a bit informal, but when I
Hmm.
was in New York City. I didn't go to a ton of business networking events. I was vacationing with the wife, and I just found people
The
walk
best.
quicker, they talk quicker, they seem to
Yeah.
think quicker. Like I'm not talking about like, CEOs I would meet. Again, I wasn't there on a business trip. Like I'm talking about someone working at Starbucks is just like they're moving a million miles a minute. But you actually did go to, you spent some time,
Yeah.
looking,
Yeah.
doing some prospecting there, some networking. I'm curious, what are the things that seem to be working for them that habits that we could inculcate,
Mm.
whether on the West Coast or wherever, to be more successful in business.
In New York,
Mm,
just a anecdotal kind of perspective.
mm,
Even if a person has no goddamn fucking idea where they're headed to, when you look at them in New York, how they do their thing, you can hardly tell because they look like they know exactly where they want to go. And it seems like they know exactly what they do, how to do it. They hardly show it ever. And at some level, but apart from that, it's not just illusion. No,
Hmm.
the percentage of people there, as far as I can tell, who actually know and actually trying so damn well to get there where they want to be
Mm.
in 1 year. That's like famous question: where you want to be in 5 years in your profession?
Right. Right.
There are
So,
actually many people. They know. So cultural habits.
mm,
Ask yourself that every minute, like train, meditate, whatever, but develop a habit asking yourself where I'm going, what
yeah.
am I doing here, where I am, what am I doing to get there next minute, next 10 minutes, next 2 hours. Very important, next week. Very, for most of the people,
Mm.
where's that week going? Where's this week going?
All right.
Sometimes you're just damn sick, you lie in the bed, forget about day. Most of the people, you're not Elon Musk, forget about hour, forget about it. Where is that week is
Mhm.
going? Where is that week bring me if I do this? Where's this week brings me if I do that?
Yeah.
Now, right now, if I do that next 5 minutes, how
Right.
it will affect my week.
Okay. Well, and so having intent and getting organized and like stop procrastinating and all that. I think that's sort of a good takeaway. And by the way, it's something
No, no, it's not. Yeah, I
I
mean,
well,
feel free to procrastinate
mhm.
as long as you want something passionately out of the week of your time. It it's gonna happen. If it's not happening,
Yeah.
just reevaluate. Maybe it's not the
Yeah.
real thing that it's just look back. If it's not happening, look back. Where was the week spent? It's
Hmm.
spent on Netflix. Great. Is that the type of life you really want to
Right.
continue? Great. You'll have the best life ever. You have a
Right.
lot. Oh, you can afford it. You like it. There is nothing wrong. A great thing about West Coast, there is nothing wrong with you. Right? It's
So,
okay.
right.
It's okay.
It's kind of not okay if you want to,
I
if
have
anyone,
I have
right.
some I have
Yeah.
some minors in my
Yeah.
extended family, and one
Hmm.
is particularly good at making jokes. And they went like one day we were like conversing and playing
Hmm.
together, and they went like, "Oh, you're saying, oh, that's okay." And that kid thought
Yeah.
the other day, oh, that's okay. But that kid was making a joke because,
Yeah.
well, that kid also Israeli roots, right?
Mhm. That's
Because
funny.
so
Yeah.
take a look back, just
Yeah.
reassess. And yes, sometimes it takes like a little bit of friction to develop a new habit, but
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that the old habit is bad. No, it's great. You're good, you're okay. The
Hmm.
question is that what you want for your future next week?
Hmm. Hmm.
If you
Well,
want to spend, yeah, you got it,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love this kind of outlook and I think this is good advice for our audience. Like move with intent and figure out what you want to do with your time. So I think that's this conversation has been a great use of our time. Thanks very much for joining
Thank
me
you, Jonathan.
today, Vlad Zams.
I wanna, thank you. I wanna add one more thing,
Yeah.
another kind of intuitive indicator.
Hmm.
If you still feel it doesn't work, okay, what's missing out? What's missing out for the next week? What
Hmm.
what you felt was missing out of that week that you just spent? What was missing out? And make a tiny step you can possibly do to fill that gap if you feel that's something really important, something somewhat important is missing out. Tiny step to fill that gap, whatever it is, business, in business. Okay, more money, Think more about that. Okay. Personal life. Intimate relationship. Let's make it more fun.
Hmm.
Okay. Talk to your partner to get the goddamn feedback. Get the
Yeah.
goddamn feedback because we are part of the matrix. We are not alone. What we are is an average of
Right.
where we are and the people we are with. There is no other me there. The me we have, the I my claim. Try to argue me. Try to challenge me on that. Not you, anybody.
Yeah.
The only me, all the me, all that self, me, that whole self is the intersection
Hmm.
of something around us. There is no
Hmm.
other. There is no other. I would claim there is no even other part of self. There is no this.
Right.
My self. No, there is no core there. The core, the only whole thing is the multiplexing magic, the multiplexing magic that happens when
I
we
just learned a new phrase.
multiplexing. It's
All
from
right.
physics,
Ec-
signal processing. So
All
you do
right. I'm
multiplexing.
I'm
Thank you
gonna
so
look
much.
that up and include a definition in the description for the podcast.
Yeah,
Vlad, it's been such a pleasure speaking with you today. I'm sure we'll have other conversations like this in future.
100%.
To those
Thank you.
who are enjoying this episode of Media Hitman, please subscribe, please like, do all that stuff, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you next time on Media Hitman.